and welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning as we continue our on-air college fair this week. We're heading over to Alliance and the University of Mount Union, where we are meeting with Melissa Gardner, Vice President of Marketing. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Susie.
Now, you are not only a VP, you are also an alum. So tell us a little bit about your own college experience when you attended Mount Union.
Well, Susie, it's really kind of interesting because I didn't decide to come to Mount Union until very late in my senior year. I was determined that I was going to another institution in northeastern Ohio, a public institution, and at my mother's urging decided to come and take a look at Mount. And I liked it, but it wasn't until I had a professor come and visit me in one of my French classes that I really decided to look at it seriously, and it was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I absolutely loved being a student at Mount Union. I loved the family atmosphere. I loved how helpful the professors were. I was from a small town, and so it was absolutely the right fit for me. Although I know lots of students that come here from larger cities who love it just as well.
Right.
But it was just the right place for me to be. It was a right fit. It was something that I thought was out of reach because it was a private institution, and I wasn't certain that we were going to be able to make it work financially. But schools like Mount Union are able to give a lot in scholarships for deserving students, and I was able to make it work out in a way. And it's I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't made that decision. So
I love the fact that a professor came to visit you in French class.
Mm-hmm.
And is there that kind of a relationship as far as the faculty being involved in recruiting the next class and getting students to know more about Mount through them?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and ever increasingly so. Students want to make connections with professors, and they want to be able to see who it is that's going to be teaching them. And that was very instrumental for me when I made the decision to come here and ended up at first I thought I was going to be a foreign language major, and then I decided I was going to be a music major, and then I went back and was a French major, and then I ended up a communication major. So, but the professor, Dr. Triplett, who was a French professor at Mountain, recently retired. I ended up minoring in French, and he was still very instrumental in my growth as a student while I was here for 4 years. So those connections, you just can't beat that.
Stepping on the campus, it's absolutely beautiful. How nice to have an old university that has been in the same location the entire time. You do have that advantage of that old Ivy League looking university. Talk about the beautiful campus you have.
Yeah, we have 123 acres, and if you don't come to Alliance often, you might not see us tucked away back on State Street, but it really is just a charming campus. Lots of brick buildings. The oldest building that we have on campus was built in 1864. That's Chapman Hall.
Pre-Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of
Wow.
our history. The facility was completely gutted in the 60s and rebuilt, but we were able to keep, the bones of the building and modernize it. We've had a lot of growth over the past decade. Almost $110 million has been invested in campus. That includes, recreation facilities, an upgrade to our dining commons, new apartment-style housing. We've got three units of apartment-style housing on campus that are extremely, extremely popular with our upperclassmen. We also have a new health and medical sciences building, a new performing arts center. So the growth has just been astronomical, and I know a lot of alumni who don't see it on a daily basis kind of revel in it when they get here because
really surprised.
It's been a lot. There's been a lot of growth, but it's been really good, positive growth.
Mm-hmm. Well, with all of the old and that old, nice historic campus, you have also plenty of new, including a brand new president. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we bid farewell to Dr. Richard Giese, who was our 11th president and served in that capacity for 10 years. He was very much instrumental in the growth that I was just talking about, and a lot of great things were accomplished underneath his leadership. And upon his retirement, we welcomed Dr. Richard Merriman, who has been wonderful thus far. Really learning about the institution, learning about the environment, getting to know students and faculty and staff, but pushing us forward in a very positive direction. We just wrapped up a strategic plan, and he has launched us into a new strategic planning process so that we don't lose any momentum. So it was great to work for Dr. Giese, and it's been great to work for Dr. Merriman so far, and I think he will do great things for Mount Union.
Well, introduce us, if you will, to Dr. Merriman. He's been in office how long now?
He began on July 1st.
And his background, tell us a little bit about him.
Dr. Merriman came to Mount Union from Southwestern College in Kansas, and he served as the president there for 17 years. So he's not new to this game. He's been a sitting president. He knows how to lead an institution. Southwestern is a similar institution to Mount Union. It's a United Methodist affiliated college, about 1,700 students. They have a little bit of a different student body makeup, a little bit more in terms of online students and so forth. But a lot of the characteristics of the institutions are similar. He has worked also at a number of other institutions. So he was at Berea College in Kentucky, Lemoyne College in Syracuse. He has been a faculty member. He has been a fundraiser and is a political scientist by trade. So
that's very interesting.
Yeah. So he's very, very knowledgeable, very experienced. And like I said, I really feel he'll do great things for Mount Union.
And a very interesting combination of experiences. Boy, isn't it important now that college presidents have a little bit of fundraising background?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. They're constantly on the road with the advancement folks, meeting with donors, and talking about, the needs at the institution and how impactful a gift can be. So fundraising background is critical.
Well, when at a time where college education and the higher education community has been extremely competitive, University of Mount Union has continued to grow in enrollment and in programs. And tell us a little bit about some of these programs.
Yeah, so we've made a really conscientious effort over the course of the past few years to add high-demand programs to our curriculum. Some of them have included civil and mechanical engineering, both of which were recently accredited by ABET. And we've had 2 classes of students graduate now. And just kind of as an aside, you can't earn ABET accreditation until you've had a class graduate. So we've reached that milestone. We've got civil and mechanical engineering graduates who are doing great things. Really high job success, career success rate after graduation for those programs. And we recently also added a Bachelor of Science in Nursing program, which has been very successful thus far. We have had 2 entering freshman classes, and we're also working toward our accreditation status with that program as well.
So interesting that you would choose to add that. I think every person that we have spoken with this week has something to do with nursing. So sell us on University of Mount Union's nursing program. Why should a person choose Mount for nursing?
Well, our nursing program, I think one of the benefits is it's a direct entry program. So a lot of times when students apply to a nursing program, they'll get accepted into the institution, and they'll take a year of coursework, and then they have to apply to get into the nursing program. And some of them get in, and some of them do not. And at Mount Union, you apply to be in the nursing program as you apply to be a student at the university. And if you're accepted into the nursing program, you know right away that you're in the program and moving forward. And then, I think... we have an intentional focus on building programs in the healthcare industry. It's such a booming industry right now. There are job opportunities that are just, masses of jobs in that field. And with that focus, we've really been able to develop some really high-quality programs. And I'll tell you a little bit about some of the graduate programs in that realm in a minute. But we also just recently built a new health and medical sciences facility. So our nursing program is in a brand new facility, and we've really been working diligently to develop some clinical partnerships. We have a clinical partnership with the Cleveland Clinic for many of our healthcare programs, and so we're building some really good relationships there. So I think solid hands-on preparation, a really good foundation in the basics with regard to classroom learning, a brand new facility, and the fact that when you apply to the school, whether you're into the program or not.
Right.
So
You're there.
I think those are some of the benefits of it.
It's very interesting, isn't it, how you really need to keep your finger on the pulse of what is next. What is
Absolutely.
that next big thing?
Yeah.
How does Mount go about choosing, figuring out what should we offer next? Does this come from students and demand, or through the admissions office, through you just hear things? Do you have this? Do you have this? How does that work?
All of the above.
Mm-hmm.
So we just listen and pay attention to things like the Bureau of Labor Statistics and what they're predicting, for job demand, what students are telling us they're interested in, what we're seeing coming across on ACT scores and data that's collected during that process and what students are looking to major in. And then we also look to it, where's there an opportunity for us, especially in our geographic area. So if there's a high demand program and there's not a lot of other schools in the area offering that, that's certainly something we want to consider. And we actually have a process. We ask ourselves a series of questions when we're going through, programs. The first and foremost, is it mission compatible? There's a lot of programs that we could add here that really aren't a right fit for Mount Union. And so we're looking at what's mission compatible, what's sustainable, what will bring in a quality of student that is at least at the level of the average, academic quality student that we're bringing in right now. So there's a very systematic process that we have right now that we go through. We also do some market research. So there may be an opportunity for us, there may seem as if there's an opportunity for us because regional or national data tells us that, graduates in a certain program are going to be in demand.
Right.
But then we do market research and make sure that our audiences, the students that we could potentially be pulling in, think that's a program for Mount Union. So
mission compatibility is another theme that's been common throughout this week. In a nutshell, and I'm not asking you to rattle off your mission statement, but
I can do that.
I'm sure you can, because I'm sure that's a requirement for your job. But tell us in a nutshell, like a thumbnail, what is the mission, the unique mission of University of Mount Union?
We have a one-sentence mission statement, and most people on campus would probably be able to recite this for you. But our mission is to prepare students for fulfilling lives, meaningful work, and responsible citizenship. So
that's nice.
So we're doing everything that we can at Mount Union to ready students to be contributing members of society. Happy, well-adjusted individuals with their choices in their lives, and seeking meaningful work, jobs that bring them joy.
Well, you certainly are. You represent well as one of the alumni. We're speaking with Melissa Gardner, Vice President of Marketing for the University of Mount Union. We're going to be taking a little break here. When we come back, very interested to find out about the value, the return on investment. Your alumni are finding jobs in their field and finding them very quickly. It's an impressive number, but I don't want to make you have to say it quickly. We want to be able to unpack this. So let's take a break, and we'll be back. You're listening to Our Community.